All right, Steelers Nation, let's talk. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a franchise that is constantly pushing to get better, always searching for that next edge, that next adjustment, that next spark that can turn a good season into something truly special. This team is never satisfied with almost, especially when the playoffs arrive. So before we dive into today's exclusive story, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It helps support the channel, helps this video reach more Steelers fans, and keeps this conversation alive all the way through the postseason. And just a quick reminder, Steelers fans, if you want official Steelers gear, whether it's a TJ Watt jersey, cold weather hoodies, hats, or the newest Sideline pieces, the link to the official Fanatic store is below. They update it daily with new releases, and grabbing your gear through that link also supports the channel. Now buckle up, because the spotlight is about to shine very brightly on DK Metcalf. And according to insiders in Pittsburgh, the Houston Texans have been officially put on notice. The NFL world took notice late in December when the league suspended DK Metcalf for 2 games following an altercation with a fan during the Steelers' Week 16 win over the Detroit Lions. It was an unusual situation, a frustrating one for the Steelers, and one that forced Pittsburgh to finish the regular season without its most dangerous offensive weapon. Now, as the 10-7 Steelers prepare to host the 12-5 Houston Texans in a wild-card playoff showdown at Acrisure Stadium, Metcalf is officially on track to return. And according to Steelers insider Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, this isn't just a return, it's a warning. Speaking on Pittsburgh sports radio station 93.7 The Fan, Fittipaldo made it clear that Metcalf is entering this playoff game with something to prove. He revealed that Metcalf was surprised the suspension wasn't reduced to just 1 game, and that frustration has turned into fuel. Fittipaldo's message was simple but powerful. DK Metcalf is going to play angry, and the Texans may be the ones who feel it. If you're Houston, this is not the version of DK Metcalf you want to see. This is a wide receiver who already thrives on physicality, emotion, and intensity. Add perceived disrespect, lost time, and a national playoff stage, and suddenly you have a player capable of completely taking over a game. Fittipaldo went as far as to suggest that Metcalf could use this moment to metaphorically throw the performance back in the face of the league office and anyone involved in the suspension decision. But beyond the emotion, there's a football reality that makes Metcalf's return even more important. His presence changes everything. Even after missing time, DK Metcalf still finished the regular season as the Steelers' leading receiver. According to ESPN stats, 850 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, 99 targets, 59 receptions, second most on the team. He was the engine of the passing game, the matchup nightmare, the player defenses had to game plan around every single week. And when he was gone, the impact was obvious. The Steelers' offense struggled mightily during their Week 17 loss to the Cleveland Browns, a game where the passing attack lacked explosiveness, spacing, and consistency. Without Metcalf on the field, defenses were able to compress the middle, take away contested throws, and force Pittsburgh to win in uncomfortable ways. Yes, the Steelers still found a way to beat the Baltimore Ravens in Week 18 to clinch the AFC North, but that game also showed how hard things become without DK Metcalf stretching the field and commanding attention. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who threw for 294 yards and a touchdown against Baltimore, now gets his full arsenal back at exactly the right time. And that brings us to an underrated part of this story. While losing Metcalf for 2 games was far from ideal, Mike Tomlin hinted that there may have been a hidden benefit. Speaking to reporters, Tomlin explained that being forced to play without Metcalf required the coaching staff to evolve, adjust, and expand the offensive playbook. He said, "We all grow as strategists. When you're faced with adversity, it's important that you pivot. That pivot matters now. Because with Metcalf back, the Steelers don't just return to their old offense. They return with new wrinkles, new answers, and a deeper understanding of how to survive when defenses take something away. In playoff football, that adaptability can be the difference between advancing and going home. As of midweek, DraftKings Sportsbook listed the Steelers as 3-point home underdogs against the Texans. Let that sink in. A division champion, at home, with DK Metcalf returning, and still the underdog. If you think Metcalf hasn't noticed that, think again. If you think Aaron Rodgers hasn't noticed that, think again. This team thrives on disrespect, and suddenly there's plenty of it. As if the stakes weren't high enough, there's another layer hovering over this playoff run: Mike Tomlin's future. Even though leading the Steelers to another AFC North title and playoff appearance, there is no absolute guarantee Tomlin will be back in 2026. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that at least one source close to Tomlin believes there is a real possibility the longtime coach could step away after next season. While others fully expect him to finish out his contract, the fact that this conversation continues to surface every year is telling. If Tomlin were to leave, it might not be for another coaching job. There is growing belief that television work could be his next chapter, with multiple networks reportedly open to that possibility. Tomlin has one guaranteed year remaining, with a team option for 2027. What the Steelers decide to do with that option could signal the direction of the franchise. For now, though, all of that takes a back seat, because the playoffs are here. This wild card matchup against Houston feels like a crossroads moment. A star wide receiver returning angry and motivated, a veteran quarterback chasing another postseason run, a head coach with questions swirling about his long-term future, a franchise eager to prove it's more than just a regular season contender. And standing in the middle of it all is DK Metcalf, ready to remind everyone exactly who he is. Ray Fittipaldo's warning wasn't hype, it was insight. The Texans aren't just facing the Steelers, they're facing a version of this offense that finally looks whole again. As the Pittsburgh Steelers prepare for postseason football, another young defensive back has slipped through their hands. According to HPRC2 Houston's Aaron Wilson, cornerback Darryl Porter Jr. has signed with the Buffalo Bills practice squad as they head into their wildcard matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a fresh opportunity for Porter and a reminder of how thin the margin is for young players fighting to survive in the NFL. This move comes at a time when the Steelers are finalizing their playoff roster and signals that the Pittsburgh secondary, once battered and bruised, is finally healthy enough to make tough decisions. But make no mistake, this is a loss of potential, even if it doesn't make headlines. For fans who didn't track him closely during camp, Darryl Porter Jr. is a name worth remembering.
He went undrafted out of Miami, but his college journey tells the story of a player who kept fighting for his opportunity. Porter began his collegiate career at West Virginia in 2020, appearing in 6 games as a freshman. By 2021, he had carved out a bigger role, playing in 13 games and recording 40 tackles and an interception, showing the kind of toughness and versatility NFL teams look for in developmental defensive backs. Ahead of the 2022 season, Porter entered the transfer portal and landed at Miami, where he continued to build his resume. Across the 2022 and 2023 seasons, he appeared in 18 games, steadily contributing on defense and special teams. In his final season at Miami in 2024, Porter played 12 games and recorded 28 tackles, enough to earn him a shot at the next level. He declared for the 2025 NFL Draft, but when his name wasn't called, his NFL journey was just beginning. Porter initially signed with the Buffalo Bills as an undrafted free agent, but that stint didn't last long. He was released in late July, opening the door for Pittsburgh to take a look. The Steelers signed Porter on August 5th, and from the moment he arrived at training camp, he started turning heads. Steelers defensive coordinator Terrell Austin had nothing but praise for the young cornerback. "I think Darryl's been a really good surprise coming from Buffalo," Austin said. "He really competes, he's got a great demeanor about him, and he's a young guy." That kind of endorsement matters, especially from a coaching staff known for valuing effort, discipline, and mental toughness. Porter backed it up on the field, finishing the preseason with 7 tackles and showing enough promise to earn a spot on the Steelers' practice squad after final cuts. Porter's opportunity came in Week 26 against the Detroit Lions, when starting corner James Pierre was sidelined with a calf injury. Porter was elevated to the game day roster, a huge moment for any undrafted rookie. He logged 1 defensive snap and added 3 special teams reps. Not a lot, but enough to keep him in the conversation as emergency depth. However, timing is everything in the NFL. Once Pierre returned to health and Brandon Echols also made his way back from injury, the Steelers suddenly had a crowded secondary again. With playoff rosters tightening and every spot at a premium, Pittsburgh made the difficult decision to release Porter on December 29th. Just a week later, he found his way back to Buffalo, this time as a Bills practice squad member heading into the playoffs. The departure of Daryl Porter Jr. isn't just about one player, it's about where the Steelers are as a team right now. For weeks, the secondary was held together with duct tape. Injuries forced Pittsburgh to elevate practice squad players, sign veterans like Trey Flowers, and shuffle roles weekly. Now, the picture looks very different. Joey Porter Jr. and James Porter Jr. are locked in as the starting boundary corners. Brandon Echols has reclaimed his role in the slot. Asante Samuel Jr. provides additional depth on the active roster. At safety, the Steelers are stacked. Jalen Ramsey, Kyle Duggar, Sebastian Castro, Chuck Clark, Jabril Peppers. That's a deep, experienced group, and it leaves very little room for developmental players, no matter how promising they may be. This is the harsh truth of playoff football. Teams stop thinking about what could be and focus entirely on what helps them win right now. Development takes a back seat to reliability, experience beats potential, and versatility on special teams becomes the difference between staying and going. Porter didn't fail in Pittsburgh. He simply ran out of time and opportunity. And the fact that another AFC playoff team scooped him up immediately tells you everything you need to know about his value around the league. Don't be surprised if Daryl Porter Jr. resurfaces in future seasons, maybe even back in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have a long history of bringing players back when injuries strike or depth is needed. For now, though, this move signals confidence. Confidence that the secondary is finally whole, confidence that the roster is ready, and confidence that tough decisions, even uncomfortable ones, are necessary to chase something bigger. So now I want to hear from you. Do you believe DK Metcalf is about to have a statement game? Can the Steelers' offense finally unlock its full potential in the playoffs? And how important do you think this postseason run is for Mike Tomlin's future in Pittsburgh? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk it out. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any Steelers playoff coverage. Official Steelers gear, new drops, and exclusive items, all in the link below. Check it out, Steelers Nation. The stage is set, the lights are on, and DK Metcalf is back.